Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is the Prince of FNAF, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing, and also be sure to hit that notification bell. That way, you'll indeed be notified for any awesome videos like this in the future. Alright, so here's the murderous symbiote himself, Carnage. Now this is actually a version of Carnage from the comic book titled Absolute Carnage. As you can see, he's got that weird symbol-like rune on his forehead. But if you don't like the Carnage with the kind of Absolute Carnage symbol, you can just have the regular Carnage because they've included a regular Carnage head sculpt. You can see all the tendrils. The sad thing about this figure is it doesn't look like he comes included with any symbiote blades, which is unfortunate considering in this same Venom Pool Build-A-Figure series from Marvel Legends, the other symbiote, I think it was Phage, came with, well, some symbiote blades, which is unfortunate considering that's like a huge part of the Carnage character. He's always making these symbiote blades and weapons to rip and mutilate his victims. You can see there he is there, looking pretty cool. You can see the side of the box, you can see an awesome artwork of Carnage from Absolute Carnage. You can see really nice purple backdrop on the box here, and it's titled Twisted Criminal Cletus Cassidy sows chaos in the streets as a bloodthirsty villain Carnage. You can see right there, there's the Venom Pool Build-A-Figure. Also included in this wave is Mobius, or Morbius, Carnage, Phage, Miles Morales, and Venom. I love that image of Carnage there, the Carnage figure right there. Looks pretty cool. See the same image again of Carnage from Absolute Carnage. With that being said, let's unbox this murderous creature of a symbiote, shall we? Alright, so here is Carnage, looking pretty badass. I love all of the markings on his body. You can even see on his toes here, he's got some long claw-like toenails. And they really made it look more comic book accurate by having these long, spindly, sharp, and jagged claws that Carnage has in the comic books. Looking pretty cool. He has the awesome Absolute Carnage head sculpt with the rune and the much more broader jaws. He's got all of these kind of tendril like vine symbiotes kind of crawling up on him. And as you can see, they skipped out on no detail on the back here. You see that nice black and red kind of symbiote tendrils all over him. He looks pretty cool. He does have a nice awesome rotation in his shoulders that goes on both sides for articulation. He does have a full rotation right here at kind of the bicep area for both arms. So you can get clearance for the tendrils here. And his arm goes up that far and goes back that far. Same on the other arm. It's on what looks like a double hinge joint. You can get him in some really cool poses. He does have full rotation at the wrist, and they move up and down like most figures. Again, up rotate all around, and then he can move down like that. He does have a crunch. He can move it back that far like he's dodging an attack from Venom. He does have a full rotation at the waist, and there is a cut in the thigh, so he can move. His legs move out that far, and move in this far. He does have a nice rotation here at the leg. And again, there's some cut in the legs right here. And then his feet move up that far and move down that far. And there is a rocker joint, and this goes again for both of the feet. And obviously, this tendril thing can be removed if you don't want to have crazy tendrils on Carnage's back. But again, it's a huge part of the character. He's always got the tendrils coming up and the bladed weapons, so I'm sure you're going to want to display him with that going on. But that pretty much wraps up the articulation. Let's move on. Alright, as you can see here, I have him displayed with the regular comic book Carnage head, which is probably how I'm going to display him most, is with his normal head. You can see he's got that fiery orange inside of his mouth. And again, it's very accurate to the comic books. I love it. I think it's an absolutely awesome look for Carnage. You know, if you don't want him to be the version of Carnage from the Absolute Carnage comic books, you can just have your regular Carnage, which is something that I like that Marvel Legends here did for this figure. Gave it two possible display options for the character. Just quickly taking a look at some more of his details here. There's actually, if you can look here, there's actually a joint here, a double joint connected to this butterfly joint right here, which gives you a lot more clearance of movement, which I didn't notice when I was doing the articulation. But yeah, taking a closer look at the details, he looks pretty great. He's definitely ripped with some muscles, although it's obscured by some black symbiote webbing over the base red color of the symbiote. I like that his claws are just nice and nimbly jagged weapons, like they are in the comic books, which is great. It's always great to see these kind of nimble, sharp, and jagged razor blade like claws that Carnage is known to have. I also like the symbiote just parts coming up here. They look very reminiscent of some thorny vines, and they look pretty cool. All the detail is great. Having most of the symbiote look like it's just flesh itself, which I think is a nice texture to have on Carnage, considering he often does have that more flesh-looking style to him, like just big chunks of flesh. As you can see, it's kind of very strand-looking, which I think is cool. As faithful to the comic books as possible, this Carnage figure delivers, although I wish they would have included some symbiote blades, because that's a huge part of Carnage's character. However, I do think it's displayed great next to Venom, having them pose in some really gruesome battles. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this figure, and with that being said, do take care and have a great night.